Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kaustubha. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Super Soul Farm, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kaustubha Das. Welcome to the show, and welcome to the Srimad Bhagavatam. If you want to study yoga, if you like yoga philosophy, and you take a teacher training course and you think, this is pretty interesting. Well, guess what? You can check in here every day. We go into it, we dive it, we pick it apart, and we try to make these ancient teachings real, relevant, practical, applicable. What else?
Provide some takeaways, some
takeaways, some takeaway tools. And that's what we do, and that's how you learn this stuff. It was never meant to just be studied for like a few hours and okay, now I got it. Now I am a transcendentalist. It is supposed to be heard on a regular basis. According to the teachings of yoga, it's supposed to be heard on the regular basis. And when you hear something on the regular basis, it starts to direct you. It becomes like sort of a sounding board for all my other ideas and philosophies and things that have been programmed into me and say, how does this hold up to what the yogis would say, what the yogis would teach? And you can take anything you heard, where you grow up on a spiritual path, your politics, your desires of what success is, and you throw it against that sounding board of the Vedas, and you realize, wow, this got something very substantial here. And the more I add it to my life, I find the more connection I get, the more peaceful I get, and really the more I learn about other people and the way I think about other people, and the way I speak to other people. It really takes control of your whole consciousness and your heart at the same time. What do you think about that, Kaustubha?
Love it. Let's do it then.
Kaustubha, in my deep meditation this morning, I get this text message from Kaustubha. He sent me, check out this viral video. I was like, this is the last thing I expect from Kaustubha during my morning meditation.
That's not what happened.
But no, let me just share. But Kaustubha has this incredible way of taking anything and finding the deep, essential spiritual meaning in it. Unfortunately for me, it threw me off my spiritual trek, and I ended up on the 5 greatest bank heists of all time. You know how you look up one video for some reasonable thing, and then all of a sudden it leads you down this, that's why they call it a web. I'm going, 5 best bank heists. That led me to the guy who was being followed by the cougar for 6 minutes. Did you see that video?
I heard about that, actually.
Why is everyone watching these viral videos? Nancy Rothman's like, yep, saw it. The guy saw a cougar, messed around with some cougar cubs.
Well, yeah, I didn't see that, but I saw someone comment on that is like, maybe it was even Vegan Trucker. Was it Vegan Trucker? Posted something about that saying, but like everyone's saying, oh, look at this cougar, it's stalking, but actually it's just protecting its young.
It's protecting the cubs.
It's escorting. It said it was escorting a person away from its young.
Well, you know what the most dangerous animal in the wild up here is, Mara? Do you know that? Owl.
No, I don't know.
Owl. The owl. We've spoken about the owls.
Did we spoke? Great horned owl.
Yeah, because when
you mess with the babies, they puncture the skull. They go right to your head, puncture those talons right in your skull. They find people dead all the time. You know where I heard this? Robin Shaver, Lake Placid. I was up by Lake Placid in one of those nature centers, brought the kids, thought it was going to be fun. The guy told us horror stories about heads being punctured. My kids are like, they just find the bodies and they've got holes in the head.
That's what in the first canto, when Narada went wandering as a boy and went through the forest.
Yes.
And he mentions that there's all these, I wandered through these dangerous areas. There's, tigers and this, and then he says there's owls.
See, it's amazing. I'm telling a crazy story again. Kaustubha brings it right back to Bhakti, back to the Bhagavatam. That's why I love this guy. No
I love this guy. Love you, baby.
That's no matter where I go in my Maya, digging around my Maya garbage heap. Kaustubha takes me by my little baby hand and walks me right back to Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
But you know what we need to talk about today? Because we need to talk about that video. It's the Dog Face 208 video.
Okay.
It's viral. It's gone viral.
Okay. Now, what is your spiritual takeaway from that?
Well, let's read Bhagavatam and then it'll come out naturally.
We're
going to talk about this dog. It's a TikTok video, Dog Face 2. It's not 108. It's Dog Face 208.
It's Dog Face 208. All right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, let's dive in. Any announcements before we go?
Yeah. Well, we're not going to have this show on the weekend, right?
Oh yeah. We're taking a weekend off to have a weekend with everybody live in person.
Right.
We're very excited about that. Wisdom of the Sages live.
Maybe we could do some live broadcasting on Sunday.
There's no internet up here. It's like we
man.
live in the woods. But and we want to say congratulations. Wait a second. We want to say congratulations to Jeff and Rachel for getting married, but also one of our Zoomies had a baby.
Oh yeah.
And we want to say, they listen to Zoom. They listen to Zoom. Next thing you know, they're having a baby. They had nothing to do with Zoom, by the way. But Lindsay Scott, who, she was one of these people that came on pilgrimage and then just sort of got like inspired and she knew nothing about Krishna, Bhakti, anything. She went to a class I did in Texas, and she signed up for the pilgrimage, and then just spirit transformed her life. And then she listened to the show every day, and then she moved to California, became a Californian, is now an official Californian.
She was a Zoomer, now she's a Californian.
She was a Zoomer, now she's a California. And this little baby is born, and I'm trying to get the picture of the baby. Baby James. Baby James. We want to say congratulations.
Sweet baby James.
Sweet baby James. Oh, man, I can't find it. Where's that picture?
Rock away, sweet baby James.
Anyway, Lindsay Scott, congratulations to you, to your beautiful little family, and sweet baby James. And there was one more thing, Mary, you told me to mention and remember.
Maybe Danya's thing?
Yeah, Danya's thing is on Friday, 2 p.m. on Patreon for anybody that's interested. Exploring 21st century relationships.
Oh, that's good.
Through a Bhakti lens, too, right?
No one's got any.
Exploring the relationships.
No one's got any relationship problems out there.
And then any asana class today?
Yep, Sorrel from Bhav Wellness in Arizona is teaching at 10 a.m. today.
Of wellness.
Sorrel from Bhava Wellness. That's Damodar and Radha's place in Sorrel. Because they're in Tucson. They're one of the other. We're consider them Californians. Like we never see them live because it's so early. But they're like very dedicated and regular, and they teach, and we're grateful for them. Thank you guys.
For Patreon members.
Patreon.com/Wisdom of the Sages. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narotamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiraye. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the personality of Godhead, Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshva badreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service to the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnanatamrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Isn't it cool that we're reading this book that people have been gathering together and reading for millennia? This isn't
And
a
will
new
continue
thing.
to in the future, right?
Yeah, this isn't a new thing what's going on here. This has been going on forever. People have been getting together and reading this book. And it will continue. I never thought of it like that. In the future.
In the future.
I mean, right now, who would think 300 years ago, someday in the future, they'll be doing this in a different way, like on Zoom, right?
Yeah.
And now we're thinking in the future, what'll be next? People will be like 3D zooming out of the.
No, I think it's going to go. It's going to go back. I think.
Never going back.
It's going back
once they take. Yeah. Anyway. All right. We're in a new chapter, right?
We're not. Maybe you are. The rest of us still have to finish this one.
Oh, okay.
We're still in chapter 6.
We're still in chapter 6. Okay. Purusha Shukta confirmed.
That's right.
What's the verse, Prabhu? Sorry.
I think we read yesterday.
41.
We read 40 and 41.
Okay.
And today we're going to read 42 and maybe finish the chapter today.
Okay, 42. Karna Dakshai Vishnu. Karana.
This says
that means causal ocean.
Yeah, but this is Karanar Navashai Vishnu.
Oh yeah, I didn't understand that. Is that a typo?
No, you said that before. It's not that it's happening again. It's
Karana Navashai.
Just another way of saying.
He is the first incarnation of the Supreme Lord, and he is the master of eternal time, space, and cause, and affects mind and elements and the material ego. The modes of nature, that's the gunas, the senses, the universal form of the Lord, Garbhadakshayi Vishnu, and the sum total of all living beings, both moving and non-moving. By the way, if you're new to the show, welcome. Don't let this very complicated stuff throw you off. But, it's also complicated. Just hold steady. I myself, Brahma, this is Brahma speaking.
No, hold it. Slow down. Slow down. There's a lot to talk about here.
Okay. You're going to dissect 42 for us?
Well, let's get into it. Mara is also mentioned that there's something we forgot to announce. Urban Devi Retreat.
That was the thing. I cued you, Mara.
Yeah,
I can barely hear you, Raghunath. You got to move that mic.
It's right on my lips.
Yeah, but your lips weren't on the mic. It wasn't on you. Now it is. You moved. Like you totally moved. And then you said it's right on my lips.
Okay. What's up, Mara?
There's an Urban Devi retreat on Saturday through the Bhakti Center. If any females are interested, you can go to bhakticenter.org, I think, to sign up.
And that's really great because Rukmini has that Rukmini Devi. She goes way, way, way back. She's like, very pure and wise,
Special lady. Special lady.
So those Urban Devi retreats are like, I would check it out if I could, but I'm excluded from that.
You're excluded.
Due to my body.
Your bodily type. That's a type of discrimination, Kaustubha. You might have
It's okay. It's cool.
Court case.
You got your men's group. I don't want to hear anything from you.
There's also a Bhakti recovery group meeting today at noon.
Bhakti recovery group. Okay.
Yeah.
So much going on. So where do people find that again? That Urban Devi thing?
Bhakticenter.org is the website.
And that's on Saturday?
Yes.
Okay, go to bhakticenter.org.
Okay.
All right. So yesterday we read text 41 and 42. Or text 40 and 41. The two are kind of squeezed together. And there it said, Narada said to, or rather, Brahma said, "Oh Narada, oh great sage." He calls him a Muni, a great thinker, right? He says the great thinkers can know him, can know God, when completely freed of all material hankerings. And when sheltered under undisturbed conditions of the senses, right? When I'm free of my material hankerings, and when my senses are no longer controlling me, they're undisturbed, right? I've got the senses under control. They're not pulling me around like a bull with a ring in the nose,
Mm.
then they can know him. Otherwise, by untenable arguments, all is distorted, and the Lord disappears from our sight. Right. So it's saying that, and this was our theme yesterday, right? That our desires get in the way of our perceiving what's there.
Yeah.
Then
our arrogance shuts down hearing.
Yeah.
Shuts down the hearing truth and receiving truth.
Yeah. There's in all those desires that we have, it's so clear, right? That when we have desires, we hear things differently. It's based on our attachments. It's such a big thing politically right now because everyone wants their side to be right. So we just, any information we hear, we filter it to whatever. Two people hear the same thing. It's like the OJ verdict.
It's horrible. What are we going to do? This world's getting more and more divisive. Everybody hates each other. I hate. It's something I'm scared to talk to people because I feel like I'm going to say the wrong thing and hurt somebody and they're going to take it the wrong way and they're going to hate me.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you do?
What do you do?
I just want to stay with these people on Zoom.
You just do kirtan, that's all. So this verse is, it's a very ancient verse, but it's saying this principle exists. Why we can't understand spiritual truth is because we have material desires that are distorting our perception, right? And we see how that, although this was said thousands of years ago, that same kind of principle plays out in our daily life. Now this verse goes on to say, now it's saying that Vishnu, the first of the three Vishnus of the Purusha avatars, right? There's Karna-dakshayi Vishnu. He's kind of like, here, I think it even says this, did it say he's the master? Yeah, he's the master, right? Like from him, he's kind of the master of the entire material realm. And then within it comes the second Vishnu, which it mentions here, Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, inside each universe. So inside the entire material realm, Karna-dakshayi Vishnu, the first Vishnu form, is the soul of that entire material realm. From him come unlimited universes, and then he enters into each one of those universes as Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. Gives birth to Brahma. Brahma creates all the bodies, and then as the third Vishnu, he enters into all the bodies as the Paramatma, as the super soul. So it's saying that Karna-dakshayi Vishnu, the first incarnation of Krishna, his first Purusha avatar that's ready to take care of the material realm. He's the master of all the elements within the material realm, right? And so master, I looked up the definition, and this is the appropriate definition, I think, for this. It says a person who has dominance or control of something, right?
That's the definition of master?
It's one of the definitions of master, yeah, right? Someone that has dominance or control. So it's saying that Vishnu, right? Krishna, and this is what I want to talk about this dog face video too, because Krishna, he's detached, right? He's detached. But because we want a material realm to play in, he expands the first incarnation, Karna-dakshayi Vishnu. That manifestation of Krishna is the master of, and now all the ingredients for the material realm are being mentioned. Time, the element of time, which forces things to change. Space, cause and effects, mind, the elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether, material ego, the modes of nature, the senses, the universal form of the Lord, like the universe itself, Garbhodakshayi Vishnu that enters into each universe, and the sum total of all living beings, both moving and non-moving. It's saying that he's the person that's programmed and coded the virtual reality, and all the elements that are installed into that virtual reality are all done by him. He's the master of it all. So yesterday we're saying that our attachments, they kind of cloud or distort our perception of our place in the universe, or they prevent us from, they get in the way of us making sense of this universe, right? Who am I? What am I doing here? Well, what's the meaning of it all? We have trouble figuring that out. Prabhupada's going to figure it out for us right in this commentary. Okay, this is what one can understand if they're not clouded by material desires.
Wait, do you see this next verse?
But no, we're not going to we're going to read some commentary.
All right.
You're really into this next verse.
Well, we're going to get into other worlds.
Okay.
Okay.
So here's Prabhupada's commentary. He says, the material creation, that's what he just described, right? He's the master of all of those elements. The material creation is not permanent. The material creation is not permanent has been discussed many times here and before. The material creation is but a temporary exhibition of the material energy of the Almighty God. Now, this is important. The material manifestation is necessary. Why? Why is this material world necessary? The world that we live in, the universe that we live in, why is it necessary? To give a chance to the conditioned souls who are unwilling to associate with the Lord in the relationship of loving, transcendental service. Right? So if all of us here, how many of us are here on the Zoom thing today? Got 112, plus a lot of couples.
Yeah.
If all of us and everyone else in this world, right, we're completely willing to enter into a loving, transcendental relationship with God, there'd be no need for this material world. It's provided for people that want something else. Okay? With me?
Yeah. It's sort of like how your parents, sometimes parents, you get some kids. As kids get older, it always goes back to teenagers. When kids get older, you sort of have to, it's really weird. When your kids get older, they become like, their bodies become bigger and they take up more space.
That's weird, right?
They take up more space in your house. And then after a while, it's sort of like, who's this man in my house? There's a man walking around my house who doesn't appreciate anything, who just eats the food and then just like doesn't talk to me and just goes so. So some parents have to go like, all right, I bought like a little scamper RV. It's parked in the yard. You know how kids like want their own room or something, and sometimes you got to put them in a trailer out in the yard or something like that, because they just can't fit under that roof anymore.
They need their own man cave.
The house taking up a lot of space, and you give them a little place out there to do their thing. So Krishna's given us this material world to just because we're a little bit reckless.
Yeah. So yeah, right. So he says, such unwilling conditioned souls are not allowed to enter into the liberated life of spiritual existence, because at heart, they're not willing to serve. Instead, they want to enjoy themselves as, shelter lyrics, imitation gods.
Secondhand gods is the shelter lyrics.
Okay, sorry. But so it's saying that, okay, we wanted something else, so Krishna provided it. Because if we went into that realm of divine love without the right attitude, it just doesn't belong there, right?
It's not welcome.
It's not welcome there. And you're saying this isn't actually, I don't want to be centered around the source. I want to be the center. Can I try that out? Okay. Here's the
It's just like,
reality.
imagine if you have a very refined, sweet party, and then someone just comes in, they're drunk, they're vomiting, they're,
another party for you.
It's like you don't belong in this party. You got to go to a different part. I mean, sometimes that happen, you have a party in high school and some crazy college kid shows up and, he's acting crazy or bringing a gun, carrying a gun, something like that. It's like, who's this guy? Like, so there's a very refined, loving, sweet, kind, compassionate, intimate party going on with Krishna. And we're like these reckless bikers. And we're trying to sort of just barge into a party. You can't come in. We're not welcome. And so there's this process of like shedding that big, thick ego we're carrying around with us, which is so ugly. And again, it's proven to be ugly. It's proven to get me in trouble. It's proven to sort of like just embarrass me, to ruin friendships and relationships and spoil intimacy. And the whole bhakti program is, how do we refine? How do we polish and shine? First you gotta, what's it called when you get a plane on wood? You plane it, and then you got to sand it, and then you got to refine it. If anyone even works with
Have
wood.
you ever done this before? Or you just
no, I've never ever done anything. Never done anything good with my hands, but I know I've seen people that have made furniture, and they're incredibly talented.
Okay.
But anyway, this is what we're doing with the ego here in Bhakti, and then what happens is we become qualified. We become qualified. We don't become it. We already are it. That's the interesting thing is that there's already a beautiful piece of furniture in that beautiful piece of oak. That's what I'm talking about there. Does that make sense?
It's there. You just have to uncover it.
We're uncovering it. We're sort of carving.
Sculptors say that kind of thing, right? It's just like, I don't know if it was Michelangelo or something, but somebody, it probably wasn't. I don't know what someone said. Maybe it was.
I think it was Michelangelo.
Was it? That said, yeah, it's all right there inside. I just have to remove everything that's separate from it, right?
Yeah.
And that's what Bhakti is all about, right? That pure, loving, devotional service is there within, but we just have to remove everything that's separate from it.
It's a beautiful way to put it instead of you were born sinful. I hate, like, what?
I got a problem with that, right?
Like, that's how I grew up. You were born sinful. You're actually pure. We're just covered. I like that. It's the pure soul theory. We are pure, but we're just covered. And we're just in this uncovering process, like in New York City, when you're getting, you're trying to like remove the paint from the wall, and there's like another layer and another layer and another layer of paint. And then you finally get to the brick, exposed brick.
Half of the doors in my apartment don't close the whole way because they have so many layers of paint on them.
Right. And there's like layers of drips from layers underneath. You'll never get that. You got to
plane it.
You got to plane it. Not plane it. You skim coat it. Where's Richard Ornstein? He's a real estate guy. I think he knows this stuff. Okay.
So let's continue now. So I'll read that sentence again because it was a good one, I thought. Prabhupada said, at heart, they're not willing to serve. Instead, they want to enjoy themselves as imitation gods. Okay. The living entities are constitutionally eternal servitors of the Lord, right? That's like what they're made of. But some of them, because of misusing their independence, do not wish to serve. Therefore, they are, now this is interesting how he phrases it, they're allowed to enjoy the material nature, right, which is called Maya or illusion. So it's not even saying they're condemned to the material realm, right? Prabhupada's phrasing like they're allowed, if that's what you want.
It's another nice way to put it.
Yeah.
It's like Krishna in the Gita. I've told you everything. Here's the info. Here's the 411.
That's
do whatever you like.
1863.
Right?
Yeah.
Hear that? Everyone notice that? Kaustubha went right to the actual verse.
1863.
It's all working in his head like that.
Thus, I have explained to you knowledge still more confidential. Deliberate on this fully, and then do what you wish to do.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's how it is. I've given you everything. Here's the info. Here's the path. Now do whatever you want to do. Krishna is lovingly detached, like a good parent of teenagers. Okay?
Like a good parent.
Here's the information, teenagers. I've told you everything.
Really try to help.
Go live your life.
Yeah, really try to help.
Good luck to you.
Yeah.
Good luck to you.
Because sometimes you do need to learn lessons on your own, right? Isn't it true?
Somebody.
Okay, now you get into songs. So now we move on. Ready? The dog face video.
Let them free. Okay.
I don't know. Has everybody seen this TikTok thing? It's like it's going viral.
No, Kaustubha.
No, it's big. It's like millions and millions of people watching this. It's like a 22-second TikTok video by this guy named Dogface 208, right? And it shows this guy. He's on this what it is this. It's like this Mexican guy. I don't know if he's in California, where he is, and his truck broke down.
Yeah.
And he was on his way to work. Yeah. And so rather than like, he says it happens all the time. So he just left the truck on the side of the road, and he broke out a skateboard, and then he just jumped on a skateboard and started going to work on a skateboard.
Oh, yeah.
So he's like kind of on a skateboard, like riding down the highway, you know?
Yeah. It's like holding on to something because he's going fast on the skateboard.
He's going fast on the skateboard, but he's got like a big full bottle of cranberry juice. like in one hand.
He's got
Right.
must have a selfie stick in one hand, and it must be going down a hill.
Or he's got a long arm.
How's he filming this?
Yeah, well, he's just on a skateboard. He's rolling along. He's filming like this, and he's got in his left hand, he's got like a big thing of cranberry juice. And Fleetwood Mac's song is playing, this song called Dreams. Right. And he's listening to this song.
How's he listening to music too? How's he blasting music, filming himself and drinking? It's all like, was this planned?
I don't think it was planned. And so he's got the cranberry juice, and the Fleetwood Mac song is playing, and he's just flowing along the highway on his skateboard, and he's drinking the cranberry juice like totally nonchalant, and he's singing this Fleetwood Mac song, and this thing has gone like super viral. It's just like 22 seconds of this guy. Now he looks like a total like cholo kind of guy, right?
Yeah.
He's got like a shaved head, and he's got like a big tattoo on his head and a mustache, and he's like just so like kind of relaxed. And so I was thinking, what is it about? Like, people are analyzing, why is everybody so into this video? Right? Like, what's
your spiritual analyzation of it?
Well, my spiritual analyzation, if that is a word, analysis, I think is what you're looking for.
Sorry.
So it's just like that song. If you look at that song, right? I'm going to pull up the lyrics to it. It's Fleetwood Mac.
Let's get into Fleetwood Mac lyrics today, people.
Fleetwood Mac lyrics, okay.
You weren't expecting.
So this is that song, now here you go again. You
can just say it.
Yeah. You want to hear me sing it? So it's now here you go again. You say you want your freedom. Well, who am I to keep you down? Right? It's only right that you should play the way you feel it. Right? That's as much as that like comes across in that video, right? Yeah. And when he sings that last line, he sings it like he kind of really gets into it. Like, it's only right that you should play the way you feel it. So it's saying like, it's a song of total detachment, right? It's a song that's saying, I love you, but you want your freedom.
I don't want your freedom.
That's another one. That's
I don't want Krishna to be detached. I want him to be attached to me.
Right. So this song, it's like a woman singing, where this Stevie Nicks is singing. She's saying, now here you go again. You say you want your freedom. Well, who am I to hold you down? If you want something else, go ahead. I'm not going to try to tie you down. And it's only right that you should play the way you feel it. Right. And so that is you see, whatever we're attracted to in this material world is an opulence of Krishna. Right. So Krishna, he's known as Bhagavan, right? Which means he's the possessor of the opulences. Now, generally 6 opulences are mentioned, right?
Yeah, he's got them all in full.
What are they?
Mara, you know him. Where's Mara?
Yeah, I'm here.
This is a Mara quiz question. Mara, let me see if Sachi gets this. Sachi, do you know the 6 opulences? My daughter's here. Oh, come on.
She ran away.
Runs out of the room. All right. Beauty. Wealth. Knowledge. Renunciation. Strength. And
beauty, strength, wealth.
Knowledge.
Did I say wealth?
Tallness.
Fame.
There you go. You got them all. Tallness.
What an opulence. He's very tall.
Okay. So now one of those is renunciation, right? Like he doesn't have that. Like we tend to become very. He can just
clingy,
let go.
clingy,
right?
Clingy.
But
like a parent. They shouldn't. A good parent's not too clingy. They're loving. It's such an art to be loving, but detached.
Yeah, loving but detached, and that's what Krishna is.
But detached.
He's loving but detached, right?
The parent shouldn't be needy for that love, right? The parent should just be loving. That's part of like allowing a kid to grow up.
Let them grow up.
So when they're ready to come back, you're here. Can I keep cutting you off? Is that okay?
No. I love it where you're going. I'm just reflecting what you're saying.
Yeah. So like a parent, my mom's like this. She's lovingly detached. She's always there.
Yeah.
But she's not like, what are you doing? Why aren't you calling me? What's going on? Let's talk on the phone for 3 hours. She's not like that.
When you see that guy on the skateboard, right? And he's just flowing down, he's just carefree, right? And he's got his cranberry juice and as nonchalant as anything, he's enjoying it, right? It's just like, right?
Are you saying that he's the Jiva?
No, he's Krishna in this
God.
picture.
He's
Krishna. Yeah, he's God. He's carefree. He's enjoying, as carefree as can possibly be, drinking his cranberry juice. And he's saying, now here you go again. You say you want your freedom. Who am I to hold you down? Right? It's only right that you should play the way you feel it. Go ahead. If that's what you want. Right? And that detachment is one of the beauties or the opulences of Krishna that we all find beauty in. That's why we have a little strength because Krishna has strength, right? It's derived from the source. And we find that attractive. We're attracted to beauty that we see in this world, but that beauty is also derived from the source, from Krishna. And similarly, renunciation or detachment, that freedom like that's the true freedom, right? When we see that in someone, we're impressed. We wish we could be more like that, right? Because it's an opulence of Krishna. So, but if you listen to the song, I was never like a Fleetwood Mac guy. But the fact is, right, when we were growing up, that Fleetwood Mac record was like huge, right?
It's a huge hit. It's affected you to this day.
It's not just me, but you can see it's like affected everyone, including Dogface 208. And so here are the lyrics. Now think about this, right? Stay with me, Raghu. You with me?
Yeah, Fleetwood Mac. Let's go.
Fleetwood Mac.
If you want to know the damn honest truth, I had a
Fleetwood
Mac. I had a Fleetwood Mac belt buckle in 7th grade.
Get out of here.
Do you remember when everybody had belt buckles?
Belt buckles? Yeah, I guess they were a thing. I had a Levi's belt buckle. I
had a Levi's belt buckle too.
Yeah. Okay.
People collected this. If you're got to be from my generation, I think, where you collected various belt buckles and they shared a piece of basically your false ego. Look at me. I'm the guy that likes Fleetwood Mac. Now accept me into your gang.
Fleetwood Mac belt buckle. I'm looking at the Ray of today.
I had an ELO belt buckle. That's so sad. I thought people would like me with an Electric Light Orchestra belt buckle.
Okay, now Zoe Archer says the Fleetwood Mac lyrics are very relatable. Well, let's dip in.
All right, go in, please. Yes.
Now here you go again. You see, this is coming from a place of emotional maturity, right? It's like the Stevie Nicks is like the emotional mature one here.
I want everybody on Zoom to put their belt buckle up on the chat board, please. Whatever embarrassing belt buckle you had, please put it on the chat board.
Okay, we're moving on from the belt buckle now. We're moving on from the belt buckle. Now, hear me out, okay? Stevie Nicks, she's Krishna in this analogy, right? She's the emotionally mature person in this relationship. And she's speaking to someone who's not so emotional, who's undeveloped, who's unevolved, right? She's saying, now here you go again. You say you want your freedom. Well, who am I to hold you down? It's only right that you should play the way you feel it. Okay? But then there's a warning there. There's a loving warning there. But listen carefully to the sound of your loneliness. Okay? Like you can go away.
Okay. I like this. I
you
like
can
where you're
go
going
away.
with this.
Okay. Yeah. You can go away. I'm not going to try to hold you. But when you go away, listen carefully to the sound of your loneliness, like a heartbeat drives you mad in the stillness of remembering what you had and what you lost and what you had and what you lost.
You know what? I'm one of those guys, I never knew the words to songs. So I don't that's a very, very...
It's profound, right?
Now listen, lyric, especially. That's the material reflection of it. And of course, there's that micro world we live in that has that loss and has that detachment and has that so-called freedom. And then there's this big macro thing, like I've left God for my freedom.
Bingo. It's the micro macro
for my freedom.
Yeah.
And look where this freedom's got me.
And so go ahead and go. I'm not going to hold you down, but listen carefully to the sound of your own heart, of the loneliness in your own heart. And now listen to this. Then it says, there's this other line in the song. Some of these lines, it says, thunder only happens when it's raining. Players only love you when they're playing.
This is
They-
Lord
this-
Indra reference.
They say women, they will come and they will go. But now listen to this line, right? So in other words, she's
But
a
when
woman.
she's gone, what is it? What's the next line?
She's gone. No, that's Hall & Oates. She's gone. You're all over the place, right?
Sorry.
It says, when the rain washes you clean, you'll know. All right. In other words, the line is, they say women, they will come and they will go. Like, that's the way you're thinking right now. Like, this love isn't such an important thing. I can find love in another place. But when the rain washes you clean, you'll know. In other words, when rain symbolizes, suffering, right? Sadness or whatever.
Right.
So when you go through that loneliness, then you'll realize how important that love was, right?
You really excavated some deep information here from these lyrics, man.
Well, this is them. What are these? What music? So much of like Krishna conscious ideas come through music and poetry and lyrics like this, because it's the micro of the macro, right? This is just a reflection of all that's going. I'm not saying that they even knew this. That this was someone who wrote this song was probably just writing about their own human relationships, but our relationship with God is being reflected in our human relationships. And a lot of, so the lover analogies or the parent analogies often really clarify what's going on. And because the poet or the songwriter or whatever sometimes is able to really get to the heart of it. That's the beauty of poetry, right? Is that here's just a few lines, but there so much is being said through it, right? Even if you wrote it all out like an essay, it wouldn't have the same feeling when you put it to music and you say it in a very simple but poetic way. Mm. And so this song, is like a huge, huge hit, because it's getting to something that's very real. Krishna's own carefree detachment and wisdom and allowing us to venture into the material realm, but listen carefully to the sound of your loneliness, right? Mm. And when the rain washes you clean, you'll know. When you've gone through the sufferings of this life, then at a certain point, you're going to rediscover just how special that connection to your divine source is, and you'll reconnect.
It's these seeds that the Bhagavatam plants in our head that assists us in our next revelation. Without it, we think, well, he left me or she left me, and I'm in pain and I'm lost, and you know what I need? I just need another new romance. Enough with that. I just need to go into another
one
path.
Yeah.
But when you hear from the Bhagavatam, they're saying, no. The real wake-up call is your real romance is with Bhagavan. Yeah. That's the romance you forgot. And there is no romance of this material world that will be like that romance. There will be no dance that you have that will be like that divine dance. And it is giving us sort of like a chance to sort of like reflect on material heartbreak as well. And hopefully for the next time, it's like, actually, yeah, that's right. I have this relationship, and I have this relationship with God. And the rain. When does the rain come in my world?
It only happens when it's thunder.
Yeah, it comes in material loss. Like not just romance. It comes with heartbreak for sure, but it comes with some other type of material loss. It comes with. It came with when this very sanguine point of the show where Gopal came on yesterday and talked about his cancer, and I got so much feedback yesterday from that because we all saw ourselves, our own our heart went out to him, but we all saw our own temporality in his struggle, in his battling for his life, and also for. Whenever we have anybody in our family that's going through chronic illness, disease, a loved one that dies, you get a bit of like sobriety for a moment, like, oh, and that's that line when the
listen
rain
carefully. Listen carefully to the sound of your loneliness, like a heartbeat drives you mad. in the stillness of remembering what you had and what you lost.
Mm. And we will, everybody watching the show here, we will most likely have a place where we'll be like, you know what? I need a break from this. This happens on a spiritual path. You get really absorbed. You get really excited. I listen every day. And then you're like, I need a break from it. I need to experience the material world. I just did it wrong. I'm going to try it differently now. Yes, this stuff was good, but I'm going to try it a little differently now. I appreciate what I got. And then what happens is we again go out on a material path. And again, the heart gets broken again. And it gets hard. I'm not just saying with a lover per se. It gets broken with our love for the material world, our trying to squeeze some nectar out of the material world. And then we're left again. And again, these lessons come, and they're meant to ultimately direct us back towards, that's what the word yoga is, the reconnection of the jiva, of the spirit, and Bhagavan. That's what yoga is. This is why this is a daily yoga podcast. And we're not talking about up dog or down dog. This is the real yoga. It's the real connection of the jiva and Bhagavan.
Yeah, well, you know,
thank you, Fleetwood Mac.
Thank you, Stevie. Thank you, Fleetwood Mac. But it's a fact. Even the way that that's phrased, like listen carefully, right? That is, in one sense, that has a lot to do with what yoga is about. That one slow down, even like externally, like Ashtanga yoga and things like that, right? That one can. Generally, we tend not to listen carefully, to the voice inside. We're just running. But if particularly as we go through painful episodes in life, it is a chance to kind of like listen carefully, try to understand, what's the meaning to it. Is there something that I'm out of touch with that I'm searching for? And really, I have to slow. Of course, there's always that analogy of the musk deer, right? That's running, searching. Where's that aroma? Where's that enchanting aroma
Great
coming
analogy.
from?
The musk deer.
The musk deer.
Right? And musk is that beautiful scent they make perfume. They used to make perfume out of. They don't really do it anymore. But he's looking for
the
his
aroma,
beloved.
the source. Where's the source of this
coming
aroma?
from? Where's that scent coming? It's so good. And it's within his own body.
It runs until it collapses out of exhaustion, right? Not realizing that it's always already there within. And so yoga means understand that happiness that we're looking for, that love that we're looking for, the search for lost love, right?
Yeah.
That the love and the happiness that we're looking for in this world is actually there within us, but we're searching for it externally. And so, therefore the loneliness, therefore the suffering, therefore the pain, therefore, all of that. Why don't we finish this purport?
Sure.
So again, he says, the living entities are constitutionally eternal, loving servitors of the Lord, but some of them, because of misusing their independence, do not wish to serve. Therefore, they are allowed to enjoy the material nature. They're allowed to, which is called Maya or illusion. It is called illusion because the living beings under the clutches of Maya are not factually enjoyers, although they think they are, being illusioned by Maya. Right? When you see that guy on the skateboard and he's drinking his cranberry, he's like carefree enjoyer. We try to be like that, but that enjoyment is always mixed. It's always blended with suffering. So we're not true enjoyers. There's so much more to be enjoyed, so beyond the paltry enjoyments of this material world.
The thing that's speaking so loud right now is the Bhagavatam drops the pin on the GPS. Hey, I don't know if you've ever looked at your phone and your maps or something like that, and you have everything set up, but then you hit your phone or something like that, and you're somewhere lost in Columbia County driving your car. You've never done that, but driving your car completely lost, and then you got to hit that thing. Okay, where am I? And you got to hit that. I don't know. That brings you right back to that point.
Yeah.
The Bhagavatam is putting that point as this is the connection. This is the goal. This is where you find peace. This is your joy. This is your one real love in this world. And then Krishna says, as you like now, as you like. And then we're just sort of left. And I use this analogy like I got from Dina Bandhu Prabhu. We got to get on the show. Dina Bandhu, we got to get on the show. He says Krishna is called Bunky because he's sort of crooked in his way he behaves. And he's crooked like a fish hook. and a fish hook gets lodged in the fish and can't get out of the fish can't get away. So Krishna he's like a fish hook, and he gets in your heart, and you cannot get Krishna out of your heart. Once you start hearing and appreciating and serving, or hearing kirtan, or taking prasad, the hook has been set. That's what a fisherman, they set the hook. The fish bites, and then they pull it back, and it sets in the fish's mouth. Horrible analogy, but in Krishna's hook gets set in your heart. And then you just feel like, I'm free now. But there's a problem. We have this deep taste, this sweet, higher taste for something more subtle, a subtle type of enjoyment that no enjoyment of the material world will ever match. And then Krishna says, now go. And so we go. And when they think, well, I'm free. I didn't mean, no, Krishna was cool, but, and we just start to wander in the material world. And we start to forget until the material world starts to crumble, and then the rain comes.
And then the rain will wash you clean, and you'll know.
And then we'll be like, what have I done? I've given up on you. What was I thinking, Krishna?
Right.
What was I thinking? What
Right.
was I thinking? And it brings us to this point. I mean, Gopal was so when Gopal was saying all this stuff is real, all this stuff you're hearing from the body, it's all real. It was so like, I was just taken back. And I ran into him in the street yesterday. Is that crazy? Ran into him and his wife.
It's not crazy. Don't tell me that is a miracle. You live in this little town.
Magic.
Okay. But now to the point that you were making, Raghunath.
Yeah.
That the Bhagavatam, it what do you say, drops the pin in the material GPS, right? So Prabhupada
You like that analogy?
It's perfect. It's perfect. And Prabhupada is going right to your point here, Raghunath. He says, he described that we're moving through this realm because we chose to, we were allowed to. We're thinking that we're enjoyers, but we're actually illusion. And they said such illusioned living entities are given a chance at intervals to rectify their perverted, he says, perverted.
I like the word perverted. It's perverse. Right?
But it has a different connotation. I think he meant like warped. He meant like warped, right?
I use the word perverse.
Okay.
Perverted in a.
Okay, but he says let's say rectify their warped mentality of becoming false masters of the material nature. How are they? So again, let me start over. Such illusion living entities are given a chance at intervals to rectify their perverted mentality of becoming false masters of the material nature, and their imparted lessons from the Vedas about their eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord Krishna. So the temporary creation of the material manifestation is an exhibition of the material energy of the Lord. And to manage the whole show, the Supreme Lord incarnates himself as Karna Dakshaya Vishnu, just as a magistrate is deputed by the government to manage affairs temporarily. So Krishna is drinking his cranberry juice in Goloka Vrindavan, carefree. And he expands as Karna Dakshaya Vishnu to take care of managing the material realm, wherein we have decided, that we want our freedom, and we're wandering around searching for it, to someday be washed clean by the rain, right? And to know again that we have that divine loving relationship and how valuable it is.
Master excavation. You took that thing apart, Kaustubha. Good job.
All right. Thank you, Raghu. Thank you.
Hey, go ahead. Yeah. I was really hoping that there was going to be more humiliating belt buckles going on the board. I really put myself out there. I was vulnerable. I said ELO, Fleetwood Mac. I thought people were going, I had horrible. And I know there's people out there that are my age that had cheesy belt buckles, and no one admitted it. Two people, Parmananda, somebody else said it, which is a cool belt buckle. And no one went on the limb, and I'm really let down here. Right now, here's your chance. Cheesy belt buckle. Please put it up there. Don't make me stand out alone like a sore thumb. Thanks for everybody joining us today.
I'm going upstate, Rogue. I'm about to jump on the train.
Kaustubha's about to come upstate for a mandate. We're going to have pillow fights, make no-bake cookies.
You always say that.
When Raghunath and me get together, when Kaustubha and me get together, it gets crazy.
Hold it, Raghunath. This just in. David Cameron had a Casey and the Sunshine Band belt buckle.
Thank you, David Cameron, for your honesty. Now
That's
people are
great.
just going to be saying,
I had a carpenter's one. I had,
Dr. Louis had all hip hop ones.
yeah, well, Dr. Lou's cool.
And
you know.
Julie Blondine, I think it was a boy thing. I think boys had the belt buckles.
Girls had belt buckles too, I think. Right?
Boys, it was really. I had like 7 of them.